Let's talk about this video that's been making the rounds on social media, where you have this lady claiming that eating meat is not only racist, but it's also an example of white supremacy, upholding the patriarchy, and misogyny, which is quite a collection of, evils attributed to someone just wanting to eat a steak.
The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief. How do you know the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse? 21st century animal eating requires our complicity in a new colonialism. These events especially affect girls and young women. Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny. Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens, sexy fishes, who all just want to have fun. Meat eating is also one of the ways gender-based structures of oppression are perpetuated. Masculinity, a construct of the gender binary facing constant destabilization, feels always under threat, and eating animals is its protection racket. White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy, and the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging. When all else fails, meat eaters assert that animals are not our equals. I heard all your laughter. I know some of these must be new ideas, or you think they're fringe or whatever. Our whiteness is part of the problem of meat eating.
So yeah, it's basically what I said. I'm not exaggerating here. If you want to see the entire clip, go ahead. You can look at one of the sources I have in the description down below. This was given, you can see here, it was called an Oxford Union vegan argument, where you had people, I guess at Oxford, arguing in favor of and against veganism or whatever. In case you're wondering who this lady is, she actually wrote a book that you can buy on Amazon. It's called The Sexual Politics of Meat, a Feminist-Vegetarian Critical Theory. Now, I'm sure by now you've heard of critical race theory because it's all over the place right now. The next theory that we have is going to be Feminist-Vegetarian Critical Theory. Watch, that's going to blow up and be everywhere, and that'll be the next thing they teach to your children in schools. Now, obviously, I haven't read the book because those clips just started going around recently and I haven't time. And to be honest, I have no desire to. I just saw the movie. Why would I then watch the book when the movie was as bad as it was? I have no intention or no need to read this book. Now, I do want to highlight, before we run away with this too far, that this is certainly a fringe idea. I'm not saying that everyone believes or every liberal believes that if you eat meat, you are a racist, because a lot of them eat meat, believe it or not. But at the same time, Carol Adams is not the only one who believes this. Peta does too, apparently. Back in 2015, they had this article titled, "Are Meat Eaters More Likely to Be Racist?" And you know the answer is yes, because if it were no, Peta simply wouldn't talk about it. So they have a study, or they talk about a study called Rationalizing Meat Consumption, the 4 N's. And already we can tell that sounds like a bit of a biased study to me, but let's just go with that. They say that they found people who justify eating animals are more tolerant of social inequality in general. And then they said this confirms what PETA has long maintained. The mindset that condones the oppression of other humans is the same mindset that permits the exploitation of animals. Because you just know that Nazis, when they were oppressing Jews, that is basically the same thing as you eating a hamburger or a steak. And no, this isn't hyperbole, because they had that tweet, the Holocaust on your plate tweet. PETA is completely ridiculous. And they are also, I think, still a fringe organization with a lot of their beliefs. But my point is, when it starts off on the fringe, it doesn't necessarily stay that way. And things have a way of escalating very quickly in this day and age. All we have to do is look at an example of, say, gay marriage. When Obama first ran for president, he was in favor of traditional marriage. And that really wasn't all that long ago. The arguments in favor of gay marriage started basically with, what do you care what we do in our bedroom? And I think there's some merit to that. But now it has shifted dramatically to not only you must support gay marriage, but if you don't actively participate in a gay wedding, if they want you to, let's say, bake a cake, or if they want to use your land, or if they want you to make a floral arrangement, then you can be sued. And that's a very stark difference. So even though right now this is starting with some crazy people like Peta and this lady who wrote a book, it doesn't necessarily mean that's where it's going to end. So I guess the moral of the story is eat your meat while you still can before you're called racist for doing so.